This is one of my all-time favorite games, and it is Tempest 2000 from the Atari Jaguar. And there is a specific emulator for this called T2K, and it was an emulator developed simply to do Atari Jaguar Tempest 2000. It's such a good version of the game. It is my all-time favorite, one of my favorite games of all time, and you can get it for on the Atari 50 game pack. Bunch of emulators on there, but if you just want this game, this T2K emulator is less than a megabyte. The Atari Jaguar ROM file is less than a megabyte, and yeah, this is one of my all-time favorite games. And I'll show you some other games that you can run on any PC. This is one of my slower PCs, and the other games that I'll show you can also be played on slow machines and played offline, and don't require an internet connection or lots of storage or lots of space. They're all pretty small, fun, and yeah, pretty addictive. So the game runs quite a lot quicker in this emulator compared to the original, but I think the gameplay stays the same speed. And there's a bunch of settings for full screen and various other things in this T2K emulator. And I think it also does VLM, but I haven't really played around with that. But you just simply open the Tempest 2000 ROM from 1994 and you can play it in a window or full screen. And it comes with a really good soundtrack that's also worth looking out for. But yeah, it's a game that every level you start off with the same weapon, and you have to collect power-ups to progress in the level. And yeah, it gets really, really difficult as you go along, but I absolutely love playing it. It's kind of yeah, like I said, it's only about less than a megabyte for the emulator, about a megabyte for the ROM, and you can find those online. So yeah, lots and lots of fun. The next game I'm going to show you is going to require DOSBOX, and DOSBOX is downloadable and it's about 1.5 megabytes, so really small and will run on pretty much anything. You need to mount a C drive so that you have access to files, and that's just mount C, and it gives you instructions. It's pretty straightforward. So I've got a DOS folder on my C drive, and now I can access it, and in there I have got Skyroads, and it's just a demo. You can download that quite easily. It's a shareware, I think. Let's see what it's called. And it's just called Sky. And I feel like some of the bonus levels in Tempest 2000 were kind of inspired by this game. And the reason why I also like this game, I used to play this back in college, probably 25-ish years ago. The sound is great, not necessarily the music, but when you're playing the game, and you get all these different levels to choose from, and you can work your way through, and that's kind of the nice thing about it. It starts off easier, and it's just a simple little thing. You press space to jump, and you can control the speed if you want. And if you fall off, you die. If you crash into something, you die. And I remember it for the sound of it landing rather than the music. And the explosion, of course. and you press Alt and Enter to get to full screen, and I've switched the music off. It looks like the music changes with each level, and the difficulty increases with each level. The next game I'm sure everybody is familiar with, Doom Shareware 1.9. Installing it is part of the memory as well. That process there, I feel like that's something that everyone should experience at some point in life. And then it takes an age to extract all of the different files. Setting it up, you can choose whether you're going to use keyboard and mouse or joystick. Just going to leave these on default settings. Not sure if that's the best way to do it, but default for all of these. Save parameters and launch Doom. And the music is just brilliant in this. And you can make it smaller or larger depending on how your PC performs with this. Also got the mouse, and I can play this game. The fun thing about Doom is that you're in an enclosed space, but then you look out and it's like, oh, there's a huge area out there, and you can explore other bits of it. It lets you play and collect all the different things, or just get through it quickly. And there's hidden areas as well, so it's up to you how you want to play the game, quickly, slowly, or, you know, play it through. Once you've completed the shareware demo, you can go back and play it and find all of the hidden areas. But it's the kind of game that should run. Here's a hidden area, you can tell based on different colors of things. And look, we're in this huge open area, which at the time when this first came out, it was kind of quite impressive. When you get to the end, it tells you whether you've killed everything available, whether you've collected everything available, and whether you've found all the secret areas. And also, you know, you can speed run the game as well. So there's sort of so many different ways of playing this game, even if you've just got the shareware demo. And you'll find Doom 1.9 shareware on the Internet Archive, which is a great place to find stuff. And again, the music is great. Even though it sounds pretty terrible in terms of using Sound Blaster settings, I still think it sounds pretty awesome. The next game I want to show you is Trials Legends. And this was something that I played probably 20 years ago on the Miniclip website. And I was looking for it for quite a long time, but managed to find this on Internet Archive. And it is an addictive game because it is quite hard. It gets hard really quickly. So the first level tells you what to do at each stage, but it's very sensitive to movement and quickly gets quite difficult. You basically have to make it from one side to the other, and it gets, increasingly more difficult as the step goes along. And finally, another game that you can play on pretty much anything because it's from 1999, so almost every computer is going to be able to play this game. And when they released Quake 3 Arena demo, it came with a few different levels, and it kind of, the installer works even on Windows 10, Windows 11. You can install it and it still works, which is really good to see. You can even play it online, I'm pretty sure, if you've got an internet connection, but it's still fun to play it just as single player. Whoops. And when you're around some fire in this, you get the nice crackly sound of fire. So leave a comment below, let me know what your favorite games are to play on computers that may not be the most modern. These are some of my favorites, and I was really pleased that I was able to find some of these. Some, for example, only existed on the internet in mini clip as far as I'm aware, and so yeah, good to see it's possible to find them. And big shout out to Internet Archive for, you know, holding on to these things that would have otherwise disappeared.